Tom here, FlipAnythingUSA. So look, today we're talking about Grant Cardone. This guy is one of the biggest, most shameless hypocrites I've ever seen. And this video kind of goes right to the point. So today this is him showing a house that he bought after telling, maybe 1 million people not to buy a home. And I'm going to get into why that would have been the biggest mistake of your life if you did do it. And we're just going to do just a nice little comparative analysis. I would love for Grant Cardone to respond. I'd love to sit down and talk to him about this, and he can explain it. Let's take a quick look.
It's the best thing I ever did!
For those of you, or maybe your first-time visitor, my name's Tom McKay. I've wrote a book, Wake Up and Smell the Real Estate. It's been a bestseller, Amazon, Kindle, and Audible. Urge you to get it. It's only $10 on Kindle and $20 in paperback. Save you a lot of time and grief if you're interested in those. I've been doing this for 41 years, made tens of millions of dollars. I've had a fantastic life, and I would love to share the wealth the way that I know it. I'm not interested in your money. I don't use other people's money like Grant does. I got no interest in that whatsoever. First of all, let's start with this. Let's take a look at the definition of a hypocrite, right? As it is in, I think this is dictionary.com. The definition of being a hypocrite, this one, I think, sums it up better than anything. A person who pretends to have certain beliefs, attitudes, or feelings when they really do not. And I don't think anything sends that home better than this video we can begin to watch. Now, I'm going to speed this up just a little bit because I like to rip through this stuff kind of quickly, so we can run through this pretty quick and just get to the damn point. Let's go ahead and watch a little bit of this right now. And this is called The One Thing Will Make Me $5 Million on This House. Here we go.
Hey, real estate investors, remember, all real estate is not created equal. It's all different, okay? But it all has some of the components that you need to make money. Once you know what those components are, you're gonna make money in the game. This right here, it's a little tiny place. This is literally the shack. We call this the surf shack. One of the reasons I bought the piece of real estate that I'm in right here. I know a lot of you heard me say, don't buy single family, don't buy single family, don't buy single family.
Yeah, no shit. He has repeated that over and over for years.
If you got a house, sell it. Family, well, what you didn't hear is, when you know you can make some money, buy it, invest in it.
Yeah, that's because he never said that. He's never said that before. I guess for him, it feels a way of saving face and backpedaling on the advice he's been given for years. And we're going to talk about that. So take a look at this. This is right around 2020.
With me at CardoneCapital.com. I'll never let you down. If you're not going to invest with me at CardoneCapital.com, figure out how to do these deals by yourself. Your family will thank you for generations.
All right, so that's his closing speech, but let's just get to here. Listen to this.
Now, I know there's a bunch of haters out there hating on me like, oh, yeah, you say anything long enough, you're going to be right. That's not true. I told you, sell your homes. I told you guys, if you got a house, sell it. There's going to be a housing crash in the U.S. of America.
Okay, so listen to this. This is in 2020. He's telling you to sell your house. Sell your house. And you know what? If there isn't a bunch of haters out there on Grant Cardone, anybody that took his advice certainly should right now. And now let's just take a quick peek. This is a chart on home prices. So if you can see this, at $300K in 2017, 2020, but this one he gave the advice right in here, 2020. So in 2020, from the time he told you to sell your house, those values on average went up about $150,000. So they went up 50% again over what the values were at that time. But what else happened? Let's look at interest rates. So now take a look here. Now this is interest rates. Interest rates. If you'd have sold your home back then, 2020, using this as a reference, this from Fortune.com, the interest rates have gone up 24%. Follow me on this for a minute here to my other camera. Listening to Grant's, listening to his logic, right? Here's 2020. 2020. This is Mr. Sell Your House. Okay? And this is what the values did. It went like this. This being 300,000. If you'd have listened to him from 2020 to 2022.
If you got a house, sell it.
If you'd listened to him, you would have lost $150,000. So you would have sold your home, and there's $150,000 you wouldn't have made. Now, You saw how then in the end, he said, invest with me at Grant Cardone. I'll never let you down. We're going to do a little investigation. We'll look at those numbers. Because also what's happened in this same rate, let's talk about the interest rates. Interest rate, let me see, I think it was about 3%. Actually, I think it was a little less than that. But say 3%, 3%. This is the interest rate. Actually, I think it was about 2.85. We'll round up for Grant. And now here we are, up here, the interest rate here, about 5%. Okay, so 2% again since 2020. So think about how upside down you are. If you sold your home, you lost 150 grand you could have made hanging on to it and selling it later. But also, now to go out and buy another home, your interest rate, it's damn near double, right? It's gone from about 2.85, 3%, to now it's 5.25%. It's like a double whammy that most people could never even recover from. So just think about that. All right, let's get back to more of Grant's great advice. Take a listen to this.
This is why I don't buy houses, okay? This is why Brandon's seen this presentation before, okay? This is my favorite topic in the universe because this is what allows me to move, okay? So when I take $15 million, okay, I buy $60 million worth of real estate.
Okay, so now here's another thing. He gets $15 million of other people's money to invest in a fund. Now, if you hadn't seen the latest controversy, he's also been accused of pretty much buying property and then reselling it to another LLC or another entity that he buys with the investors. Based on and I don't know that this is true, but it looks like he's skimmed about $100 million on $1 billion. If you follow some of the latest stuff that's been reported here on YouTube.
So we're talking about evidence that Grant Cardone is front-running his investors, and we're talking about evidence of the federal investigation. So first, let's take the evidence of Grant front-running his investors. Now in the video that I did, this is the spreadsheet that I used in the video. I had created a sanitized version of the information that had been shared with me, partially so that Grant couldn't be 100% certain where I got the information from. You might think that the information on this spreadsheet is available to anyone in records that are publicly available, and that is simply not true. The true price that Grant Cardone himself paid for the properties is not disclosed, it's never disclosed, and in many cases, it is impossible to find that price through publicly available documents.
I don't know, he hasn't really defended it. I haven't seen him speak to the actual charges. If he says he bought a property for $60 million, does that mean the second time he bought it from himself? Because he may have already made his $10 million right here, because he paid $50 and maybe buys it for $60, then he gets $15 million from other investors, and then they invest in. And Grant, I'd be happy to walk through every bit of this with you. I'm just going by what you've said and what other people have reported about you, looking at the numbers and looking at referencing basically some of your own literature when trying to sell this stuff to other people. This is another pitch. Hey, by the way, if you just got here, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. I promise you, subscribe to me. You can always dump me later on. I will only tell you the truth. I will never lie to you. I have no interest in getting your money. Yeah, I have a mentorship. Yeah, I have a book. That's peanuts, okay? That's just, I earn that. That's mentorship. I actually work for it. I'm there with you. I take your calls. I talk to you. I help people. That's what I do. Again, please hit that subscribe button. And so let's take a look. Let's listen to this.
The home that is behind me right here is not my home. I'm renting this house. It's expensive to rent it, okay? But it's more expensive to buy. Let me explain to you. This home's probably, 18, 20 million bucks. For me to buy that house, I'd have to put $4 million down and finance the other 16 over 30 years, right?
Okay, now here's the problem with this. He just pointed to a house. He said, no way is he going to buy a house. Why is he going to buy a house for $20 million? The house that he's standing in front of, where he's doing this very video, I believe he paid $37 million, or maybe $27 million, even more than the one he's talking about.
Instead, what I did was I came here and rented it for 10 days. When I leave here tomorrow, I'm going to go to Malibu and I'm going to rent another house. And why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this.
And I think he just bought another house in Malibu, too, by the way. I think between that house you just saw and another one, he spent $67 million. So he's going a complete flip-flop on what he's been telling people to do. By the way, my understanding is that Grant bought a home. Monies that he made from that, he sold his home. He took the money from that. He made a lot of money on his home. He made a lot of money on his home is how I understand it. And then he took that money and he bought an apartment complex. The very advice he's given you is the exact opposite, very hypocritical. Because he took money from his first home, that home that he bought, may not have been his first home, the home that he bought, he turned it, sold it, made a chunk of money, and he reinvested it. And that's something he's basically encouraging people. He's depriving them of the same benefit that he got. So let's keep listening.
Look, I'm overpaying for this home, okay? I'm paying too much to use, and that is the key word here, to use this home. My kids are staying here. I have some people that are working with me that are staying here.
And so, first of all, this is a piss poor example for anybody to even accept as an example. He's talking about renting a $21 million home in this particular video you're looking at this moment. It's kind of a no-brainer. It's like saying, yeah, don't buy a castle. I mean, it's cheaper to rent a castle than to buy a castle. I mean, who can relate to buying a $21 million home? Not too many of you. Yeah, you're like in the top 1%ers. Forget the top 2%ers that make over $400,000. You're talking maybe in the top half of percenters. Let's listen to some more.
When you're buying real estate, which we don't consider real estate, a house actually real estate, just so you know.
Folks, I have made millions and millions of dollars on houses. I've made millions of dollars on houses since Grant made those statements 2 years ago.
Any more real estate than that yacht I looked at this weekend. There was a big house there. That house is probably $30 million. There's a yacht next to it. It's $26 million. I wouldn't consider either one of them investments.
So check that out. Listen to what he just said. He wouldn't consider that house, $21 million house or $20 million house, he'd consider as bad of an investment as a big boat, like a yacht, which I would tend to agree on a yacht, because a yacht is a depreciating asset. House, totally different animal. It is real estate. Let's go back to where this video begins.
And don't buy single family, don't buy single family, don't buy single family. But what you didn't hear is, when you know you can make some money, buy it, invest in it.
It's because he's never said that before. Never. Because it wouldn't suit his purpose.
Get it, grab it. But you got to know what you're doing. Now, I bought this little house that I'm living in right here, this little shack. The shack is grandfathered in. Like, if you can find a piece of real estate where it has a competitive advantage, meaning a value-add advantage, a barrier to entry is what is referred to in real estate.
Okay, listen, he's got a little shack it's probably no longer to code to build a little property like this or to build so close to the coast. This is nothing new. You know, there's a lot of pre-existing properties that they say grandfathered in, and don't ever if you ever get in a fight with the city and they say, there's no grandfather clause, no, it doesn't matter. Existing non-conforming, and they have no right to make you tear it down. Existing non-conforming. He's really kind of using the wrong lingo for this. Let's try to make his point how he can.
It can't be done again. This little shack that I'm in right here.
And he's right, you can't do it again.
I need this one. I got a shower right here. You know, when people tell you they're doing stuff, they show me what you're doing. I'm showing you right now what I'm doing. The water's real, I'm real.
The water's real, I'm real. Wow, fantastic examples.
The sand is real.
There's another good one.
The ocean's real.
That is plain stupid.
The water's real, I'm real. The sand is real. The ocean's real.
Sell your homes.
Okay, and let me just tell you, if you know how to play the game, the dream is real. This is the house that I bought and didn't pay for.
That's stupid. He's got basically a 200-foot shack. That's about half the size of a garage. It's like a single car garage. And he's going to extrapolate that to mean something it does not mean. But let's keep watching.
This was free. This little shack is going to probably make me $10 million on this purchase.
Yeah, who would pay $10 million for 200 square feet?
When you're looking at real estate, right? Everybody was looking at the house. Check it out. 14,000 square feet, 3 levels. Tommy Hilfiger owned this house. It was completely tricked out on the inside with a very 70s kind of feeling. Austin Powers Theater, really cool art inside.
I think he paid $27 million for this house. It might have been $37 million. Either way, do you think that little shack is worth 1/3 of what he paid for this entire property? It's unbelievable.
Gallery, like really over the top 70s. The problem with that is you had to like that to buy the house, or you had to see with the eye. The Italians say you got the eye. You had to see with the real estate eye. I have a real estate eye. I'm looking for barriers to entry. This little house, everybody overlooked.
Listen, he's backpedaling. He's simply making an excuse for being a hypocrite about sell your home. Sell your home. You know, and listen, let's go back to the chart here just for a second, because I want you to consider this. So consider what he said. Now, I haven't seen Grant Cardone, an investment that Grant Cardone, he really never talks about how much money he makes anybody. It's always in very, very ambiguous terms. But let's think about this. If you had a $300,000 home in 2020 and it went up to $450,000, okay, you could have made $150,000 just hanging on to it and not listening to Grant. But let's just say you sold your home and you gave Grant $300,000 to invest for you, to invest with him. I haven't heard of anybody making better than 4% on a Grant Cardone deal. So 4%, okay, on $300,000, okay, that's $12,000 a year, 2 years, that would be $24,000. You would have made $24K if he would have made you 4% on $300K. But without Grant Cardone, you would have made 6 times that much, because you can see the delta between 450 and 300, that's 150. So that's no G, no Grant. This is G, okay? Uncle G. Follow me? Now, that's assuming that you had $300,000 equity. Now, let's just say you're like most folks. Maybe you had a $300,000 home. He told you to sell, but maybe you only had $60,000 equity. Okay? Let's just say you had 20%, or you have 20% equity. That's 60 grand. That's 60,000. So now on your $60,000 investment, because that's all you got. You got $300,000. Yeah, you're paying a mortgage. You got to pay rent somewhere. Your $60,000, let's just say you gave your 60 grand to Uncle G. Now, 4% return. 4% return on $60,000, that's $2,400 a year. 2 years, that's $4,800. That's Uncle G. But if you didn't listen to Uncle G, your $60,000 equity would have been $150,000. That's what you would have made on the asset. You still would have made $150,000 on your 60, or anywhere in between 60 and 300. If you'd have thrown 300 cash into it, he'd have got you maybe 24K based on what I've seen other people's returns. He doesn't talk about the returns from other people. If you were leveraged, that's the beauty of real estate. That's how I've made tens of millions of dollars in real estate. The leverage. You get the benefit of all the appreciation on the total asset, even, of course, the part that you owe money on. The borrowed money is where you make most of your money. Again, if you had $60,000 equity, you would have made $150,000 on your house. If you didn't listen to Grant, if you did listen to Grant, you'd have made roughly about $5,000. What's even worse now? You took that advice, you got $24,000, the person that had 300 grand. You, the person that had only $60,000 to invest in Grant, you got $4,800. And guess what today? Now you got 5% interest rates. You can't even afford to buy the home that you sold. You can't, even at the rate, even if you went back and you could buy your home back for the $300,000 that it was worth 2 years ago, the interest rate is so high that you probably can't afford it or qualify for the same loan. This is how terrible this is. That's why it's so important you don't ruin your seed capital. That's what I teach my students in my course. Seed capital. That is the worst thing you can be parted from when you're young, or really any time in your life, because that's yours. You hold the reins, you control it. You make all the money. You get a partner, you got to split it with somebody. You don't need that. That's all. All right, so let's get on with this.
Build it. I can go all the way down the strip right now. Billionaire just bought 4 houses down today. Carlos Slim bought 4 houses down and built a brand new house, okay? He built a mega house, probably 30,000 square foot home. One of the richest people in the world. This strip, this street, Golden Beach, where I'm at.
Again, listen, Grant Cardone sells to the little guy, right? The little guy, I have to help the little guy. Well, the little guy that puts in, like I know a little guy that gave Grant $7,500, and he just is so angry with himself. Another person, they spent money to go see Grant Cardone at a seminar, said what he did was he humiliated a young man on the stage into signing a check. That's part of regular spiel from what I understand. Easy to do, hard to undo. Folks, take control of your assets, hold them yourself, make decisions for yourself. You can see, I think I made a pretty good example here of what would have happened to you, or what did happen to probably some people. And Grant, if I'm wrong, I'd be happy to have a one-on-one with you. We can talk about it. You know what? I defend you to some people when it comes to, I think you're a talented, gifted speaker, but I don't think your investment program is good for anybody but you. You're using other people's money and you benefit from it. This latest allegations, skimming 15%. You know what? If you disclosed it, I even depended you on this. If you disclosed it and somebody's stupid enough to sign an agreement like that that would allow you to mark up property and then they buy it and they allow you to do it, hey, you did it, you pulled it off. Good for you, I guess. Not my game, not what I want to do. I'm going to give you guys a quick peek to FlipAnythingUSA. I have a mentorship. I can tell you something. My mentees, I've got mentees, I got more testimonials and more money made, I would say, with my, and I've only been doing this 2 years, okay? I've been doing real estate for 41 years, and I've made a ton of money doing it. And now, I'll tell you, it's wonderful, because now my students are making millions of dollars collectively and individually. I had a guy, Rich, last week, made $800,000. Eric, the month before that, made $700,000. I got a whole string of people that made $100,000, $115,000, few $100,000, $300,000. Liam made $350,000. Second deal, he made $200,000 before that. He's made $550,000. There is a fortune to be made in real estate, and you can go to FlipAnythingUSA.com. This here's a gentleman. He's been in real estate a long time. He's taken the course. He's made $1 million since he's been in the class on a couple of deals. I have testimonials from all of these folks that'll tell you how they feel about it. Got a young gal here, single mom. She made $70,000 at this time. She's made more since. This gentleman right here, he's made over $2 million. Now he's up to $3 million last time I talked to him.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. So listen to this.
Space. I'm doing this video, by the way, if you like this, man. I do videos like this all the time. If you just run it into my channel. I started.
He does. He puts his foot in his mouth all the time.
I bought my first piece of real estate with $3,000.
And by the way, that property I think he described that he bought, he turned around and sold it, didn't make anything on it. He panicked when he bought it and he got rid of it early. That's my understanding. He can correct it if it's wrong.
Today we own, not counting this,
But now I'll tell you what, he's about to put his foot in his mouth again. Because right here he's about to tell you that he owns office building and all this other stuff. And he told previously, 2 years ago, he said, that's going to lose money. That's not what you want to invest in.
That's an office building behind you. That is not what you would invest in, okay? Office buildings will get crushed.
Today we own, not counting this, $2.5 billion worth of real estate, apartment buildings, 250,000 square feet of office buildings
that he said is a loser.
That is not what you would invest in, okay? Office buildings will get crushed.
People pay us rent on. And then I just bought this house and own a little condo down the street.
And then he just bought a house, what he's been telling everybody not to buy as well. So, hey, listen, appreciate you guys coming in here. I want you to hang out, watch this real quick.
Don't stop and listen. Time is on a mission to eliminate all the snake oil and the fake gurus that fake y'all. He'll show you how to build an empire, starting with nothing but a desire. All you really need is a good mentor, not a used car bullshit. With time, you'll learn to crush it. Investing like Warren Buffett. With real estate, you cannot procrastinate. Everyone who hesitates is left at the starting gate. Hey, yo, so don't delay and join today. The mentorship and flip anything. USA, go.
Hey, thanks for hanging out, everybody, again. Please hit that subscribe button. Helps the channel.